Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today I have a top 10 pattern list for you, basically. So if you've been following along with the channel a little bit, you know, see last Tuesday I'd kind of posted that I am having some autoimmune flare-ups and trying to figure out why all of a sudden that's happening, but also let's be honest, like the whole COVID season, I don't know that that's been super kind on anyone as far as the waistline is concerned, which is understandable. It's been a very stressful year and a half. Are you going to join us? Anyway, I had talked about my fluctuating waistline. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. Too many stands and tripods for her to maneuver. Gidget says hello. Hi. Hi. Did you want to say hello to everyone? Yes. Oh, you want to be part of the show. Okay. There's Gidget. Anyway, I talked about that, you can go back and watch the video. I'll link it up here. But anyway, the frustrations of working really hard on making a cohesive, wonderful wardrobe that you love and then none of it fitting you. Anyway, I have been going through my pattern stash and trying to figure out, I think I'm going to approach my fall sewing in a much different lens. One on how I can look polished, put together. My three style words are chic, current, and classic. So how I can encapsulate all of that and still have a wardrobe that is forgiving on a wildly fluctuating waistline. So I've been going through like a lot of my patterns and I thought it might be kind of fun for me to do like a top 10 on different categories, and I'll just kind of sprinkle them, throughout the fall, maybe a little into the winter, just here and there, because I know that you guys like that type of thing, and then I can kind of also go through the patterns myself with a fine-tooth comb and kind of decide what's going to work for me for the fall and winter and what would be some good things that I should be focusing on. That being said, there are a ton of patterns out there that I want to try that I have not yet tried. So this is definitely not an exhaustive list, like this could change. But these are just 10 patterns that I have recently made up and have been very happy with them, and they're ones that I will be making again in the upcoming cooler months for various reasons. So today we're going to talk about knit tops. I have a list that I'm looking down here at my laptop so I don't forget anything. But on top of that, I'm also after we've gone through the patterns, I'm going to talk about fabric and some of my favorite substrates and where I buy those to sew these things. I get asked that question all the time. Where do you find good, fabric for t-shirts and that sort of thing. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit after we're done talking about the patterns. So knit tops, we're going to talk about your standard t-shirts. We're going to talk about beyond basic knit tops using Jen from the Everyday Style School, her terminology here. And we're also going to talk about turtlenecks, because that is a silhouette that I really enjoy, even though technically it doesn't work with my body, but I don't care. I really love it. And then finally, we'll talk about some sweatshirts and kind of things, cozier things to wear. Now, obviously I'm looking at this from a lens of things that look good on my body. So, if you have a similar shape to mine, great. If not, if you're the total opposite, then maybe these are ones that might or might not work for you. But sometimes knowing what doesn't work is just as good as knowing what will work. So, yeah, let's get started. All right. Pattern number 1 is the Cashmerette Concord t-shirt. I know that I've talked about this pattern ad nauseum. I just love it so much. They released it in their extended size range at the beginning of the summer, spring, late spring, early summer. So that goes from a size 0 up to a size 32. There are cup sizes. This is like the perfect t-shirt pattern if you have a large bust. So I've made my daughter, she loves this t-shirt pattern, so I'll make it for her in her size 2 with a EF cup, I believe is what I make for her, a size 2 with an EF cup. There's a CD cup, EF, and GH. And then I make myself a size 10 with a GH cup, and I grade to a size 12 at the waist and back to a 10 at the hip. So Cashmerette's made for a very curvy figure, like a bigger bust, waist, ratio and then waist to hip ratio than what I personally have. But I love that she dressed for a large bust and they just fit me really, really well. So I'm going with the Cashmerette Concord t-shirt. It's got 3 different necklines, 3 different sleeve lengths, a few different body lengths, and I've made it up in quite a few different types of substrates. Just love it. It's a great fitted top, perfect for, I've also hacked it. I've hacked it into a dress. I've hacked a boat neckline onto it, which is not included in the pattern. We'll talk about that here in a little bit more, but it's just a great fitted tee, whether that be for layering purposes or to be worn alone. Yeah, I really love it, and my daughter does too, so that says a lot right there. So anyway, that's number 1. Number 2 is the Itch to Stitch Glenelly top. Oh, I also want to comment on some of these patterns. I do have affiliate links with them, which means if you buy a pattern from that link, I do get a small commission from the pattern company. It's no cost to you, but I like to be upfront about that. And I mean, I do have quite a, let's see, I have a few affiliate link patterns that are on here. Not all of them. It's about half probably. But I only work affiliate links with companies that I really, really love. So, I mean, that just makes sense that they end up on my top 10 patterns because that's, you know, I only work with companies that I really love. So anyway, but I don't have affiliates with all companies that I love. So I've got some other ones on here too. Anyway, okay, back to it. Itch to Stitch Glenelly. I do have affiliates with Itch to Stitch. I love this top. It's got the square neckline. I'm really anxious to try and make this into a long sleeve for the winter. I think that that's going to be, I don't think it'll be very hard, and I think it's going to be fun to kind of play around with that, just with some tweaks, but I just love the square neckline on this top, and I love the way it's fitted, but not overly fitted. This pattern comes in, let's see, a size 00 to a size 40, and she drafts for both a standard, there's a standard front and also a full bust front. I make the size 8 with a full bust front, and I love the one that I've made. Again, I would be interested in making possibly the dress one as well, but I am really interested in making this into a long, you know, lengthening the sleeve on this. It's a raglan style. I just love this. Yeah, I love that one so much. It's just different. So I would call that a Beyond Basic. Next up is the Liesl & Co. Maritime knit top. I'm wearing it right now. I would call this one a Beyond Basic too, just because it does have like a dropped shoulder, which technically isn't great for my body because, but not all drop shoulders are created equal, is what I'm discovering, because I have a large bust. So I don't want any horizontal lines that cut me off with my large bust. However, the Maritime has even though it's a drop shoulder, it's an angled seam. So the only horizontal seam you're getting is actually the sleeve of the shirt, which this hits above my bust, so it breaks things up just enough. If this were just a little bit like an inch longer, it would not be nearly as flattering. So I do have to be careful with that. But that's why I think I can wear the drop shoulder. I also have, even though I have narrow shoulders, I have squared off shoulders, which I think also, I don't know, kind of works. And actually, yeah, with the narrow shoulder, I don't have to worry about doing any shoulder adjustments because it's a drop sleeve. But I think, again, that diagonal line there, instead of it being just like a line, you know, that goes straight, helps. Anyway, that's kind of my 2 cents on that one. But I love the neckline on this one. I love the, has you finishing off the neckline with a facing, and actually I have stolen that idea for a few of the other tops that are here, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. I didn't steal any of the pattern pieces because you had to draft your own, but I stole the idea of doing an interfaced facing for the neckband. And then I top stitch it down, if you can kind of see there. I just think it looks so professional and just so ready to wear. Anyway, love this top. Next, this one's a little bit different, so definitely a Beyond Basic as well. The Love Notions Breckenridge Henley. I have worn mine to death. It has been worn so much. And actually the fabric I used for that is a cotton modal. It's actually the same fabric of this shirt that I'm wearing, just a different color, obviously. And that's a fabric substrate where I got that. I'll be talking about here in a second as well. But it drapes beautifully. I made the full bust front. This is Love Notions Patterns, which goes from, well, I think it goes a size extra small up to a 5X for this top. And I can't think of the measurements off the top of my head. I mean, you can go check out all these patterns. I think most of these, I don't think the Maritime is especially size inclusive, but I think there's a couple that aren't as size inclusive, but most of these are. So the Breckenridge Henley is one that definitely is. But what I love about it is it's got the Henley and you can make it functioning buttons or not. I made mine non-functioning. There's a few different sleeve options. I did the rolled up cuffed version for the one that I made, but I just love how it skims over the body. It's just a very flattering top without being clingy. So while the Concord is more of a fitted type of t-shirt, and this isn't really a t-shirt, it's a Henley, so it has a little bit of added pizzazz, but I love how this just skims. It's just such a beautiful silhouette, and in the cotton modal, I just find it very, very flattering on my figure. So love this one. I would like to make some of the other sleeve options for this. I'd also love to make the dress at some point. I think that'd be so cute with some leggings or tights in the winter. And I actually have a waffle net in my stash I'd like to use for that, but you know, moving on. All right, next up, the next two were actually surprises for me. I made both of these up for the first time here recently and have just loved them so much that they had to go on this list. So the next one, so this is pattern 5, is the Love Notions Forte top. Now this is a top and a dress and has a ton of different variations. I have made just kind of your straight t-shirt, but with the little flutter that goes around the sleeve. So I would call this another Beyond Basic top. I make the size medium with a full bust, the full bust front, and I made mine in a viscose knit. Again, we'll talk about that substrate in a minute because I've talked badly about rayon and viscose knits in the past. They're just not all created equal. You got to find a good one. But I love how this one is wearing. I think it's extremely flattering. It, you know, it doesn't just hang off my boobs. Like, it has a nice shape. I think that the flutter on the sleeve hits my arm at a good spot. So it just takes a cream colored shirt and ups it a notch. So it's not just your standard boring cream colored shirt, of which I have one and it's a Concord. But I think that this just kind of takes it up a notch, makes it feel a little bit more special than just a regular cream colored knit top. So in the summertime when you are, you know, you don't have necessarily a third layer to kind of zhuzh things up, I think having one of those Beyond Basic knit tops is great because then you can get away with just, you know, a top and a bottom and still have something special. The next one, so I was just kind of surprised by that. I just hadn't made it before, and some of the views on that top and dress have like a en pure waist, and I'm actually interested in trying those, only because, you know, sometimes en pure waist, especially if you carry a little weight in your midsection, like I do, I don't want to look pregnant. Obviously, that's not what I'm going for, but I'm wondering if the lines on that might just be, you know, just right. So I am anxious to try more views on that top, but yes, very pleased with the, or on the dress, but very pleased with the top that I've made from that. And I will be making more of those and trying some of the different variations. The other one, and number 6, is the Love Notions La Belladonna top. That also comes with quite a few different neckline variations. Oh, there's a hood, there's just all sorts of things you can make with this, but I love the boat neck version on this one. It's also a drop shoulder. It's nice and loose. It's not overly fitted, but I made the short sleeve version, has a cute little cuff on it. Also as a Beyond Basic knit top here this summer, actually in a cotton jersey, which I wasn't sure how I would like that top in a cotton jersey, if it would be too boxy on me. Again, I made the size medium with a full bust. This comes in their full size range. Yes, it does. I was a tester for it actually last year when they re-released it. But yes, it comes in their full size range. But I think this would be beautiful in a really nice viscose jersey as well. I think it would just drape really, really well. And I'm tempted to make one with the longer sleeves. I actually made this top out of a merino nylon. It was like the athletic wear. It wasn't the really good merino jersey from the fabric store, but it was like one of their athletic wear. And I wore it when we were in Colorado, and it was a great like layering piece for athletic stuff. But I also love wearing my soft biscuit colored one quite a bit this summer. It's one that gets pulled, you know, pretty regularly. So great pattern. I've also made it in the good merino knit from, oh wait, no, I haven't. I'll take that back. That was the Maritime tee that I made in the good merino knit. Scratch that. However, on the La Belladonna, There's a few different ways to finish off the neckline, and I took a page out of the Maritime tee and just drafted facings for the front and the back and finished those off the same way that the Maritime tee finishes its neckline off. That is a nice wide neckline, so it's really easy to get it on over your head, on and off without it needing to stretch. So you can put the interfacing onto the facing, like a nice lightweight interfacing. You could use an interfacing if you want. Mine is not stretchy, and then I just top stitched it in place because I hate when facings are flapping about. But if it's top stitched in place, I find that they look really expensive, and I love the look that I got from my most recent La Bella Donna using facings. You know, I just drafted, I think it was 1 3/8 inch wide facing because the seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch at the top, and then I have a 1 inch facing, and flip it to the inside, top stitch it down, and it works really, really well. All right, next, I put this one on here mostly because I have stolen this neckline numerous times. Mostly, I've hacked it onto my Concord, Cashmerette Concord, and that is the Sew Over It Edie top. This is a pattern from their Work to Weekend ebook, and I made this for myself a couple of times and just found the neckline to be so flattering. So the neckline is similar to this. It's more of a bateau neckline instead of a boat neckline. I think the boat necklines are, if I'm not mistaken, are the ones that go straight across. You know, they're like a slit almost, and the neckline will just go straight across. Similar to my Pamela's Patterns, her Perfect t-shirt, she has a boat neckline. Does she also have? I don't think she has a bateau, just the boat, which is very, very straight across, which my mom prefers. That is her preferred neckline. She loves that. Looks great on her. In fact, I think that top is going to be made for her little module we're doing for her. But I actually, because I have a very short neck and large bust, I do well to have a little bit more skin showing. I like where it has a little bit of a curve. So still wide, so it's, you know, it can be mistakenly called a boat neckline a lot of times because it's wider, but it has more of a curve down here, so it's not as severe of a line that goes, you know, right across your collarbone. That is what I find most flattering on myself. So I think the Edie does a really good job with that neckline. I find it very, very flattering. So I have just now, I love the Edie top. Again, I've made it a couple of times, but it does not have a full bust. I mean, I could do a, you know, full bust adjustment on it and stuff and make it work, but I just kind of got to the point where I'm like, why, you know, fix something that's really not broken? So I went to my Cashmerette t-shirt that I love and just traced that neckline on there as one of the other options and just have given myself that option, and I finish it off in the same way as the Maritime and also the La Bella Donna. I've drafted facings, and because you don't need the stretch to get it on over your head, and it just has a really, really nice finish. I have a red one that I've recently made that I love, the Cashmerette with the Edie neckline. So that's why I did put that one on there. Okay, so that's it for kind of t-shirts. But next we're going to talk about turtlenecks. Again, I know that a turtleneck isn't the most flattering. You know, I have a short neck, I have a large bust. All of those are like strikes against wearing a turtleneck, but I just really love them, so I wear them. I love them in the cold weather months. I just like the way they look. So I've got two on here. The first one is one that I made back in the fall. It's the Tessuti Monroe turtleneck, which is actually a free pattern, and it does come in a few different sizes, but there is so much ease in this pattern. Now, my one caution on this, I made mine out of a viscose rib knit, which actually and very sadly did not wear well. I paid hardly anything for that fabric. The color was so good, but it pilled like crazy. And that is, I did not dry it. Like, that was with, you know, washing on delicate and air drying. And it just got, you know, really stiff, and it did not wear well, which is very sad. But I think any kind of really drapey knit would be perfect. Obviously, if you have a larger bust, you do want something with a lot of drape for that, because otherwise that boxy body could very easily overwhelm you and make it, you know, look like a tent. So I think fabric is key on this one, but I loved the one that I made out of my very slinky viscose jersey rib knit, and I may try and find a better quality. In fact, I may try some of the viscose jerseys that are down here and just see if there's something that I like a little bit better that I can maybe recreate one again. I loved the rib knit because it gave it just a little bit of a sweater feel, but we'll see. We'll see what the fall and fabric shopping bring. The other one that I really loved is the Itch to Stitch Hepburn turtleneck. This is kind of my go-to fitted turtleneck top. I love the height. It's not too high. It's not, you know, it's not a mock. I feel like a mock turtleneck can kind of cut me off. So I do need something that comes all the way up, but obviously it's a short neck. So if something comes up too high, then, you know, it's like swallowing me up. Obviously that's an easy thing to alter on a pattern, but the Hepburn just comes up really, really nice. Itch to Stitch patterns fit me well anyway. This one does not have the full bust front. It's one of her older patterns, and it comes in the smaller size range. It does not come in her new extended size range, but I still, you know, really love wearing this one. I've thought about hacking the Cashmerette Concord to see if I could get a turtleneck on it, but it's fine to use other patterns too, and I really do love the Hepburn. I've made it in a few different fabrics, and I wear them a lot. They're great for layering, great for wearing alone. It's a really good pattern. And then finally, for pattern number 10, this is my sweatshirt pattern. I don't wear a ton of sweatshirts, but this one was so good when she released it at the beginning of the year, and I made one out of just some scraps that I had. I'm very anxious to make another one for, you know, walking outside during the winter, working out in, or even just having something cuddly and cozy to wear over things. I'm tempted to look at the bamboo sweatshirting that Style Maker Fabrics has. I've highlighted that fabric back in the 10 looks to sew for the back to school. I'm tempted. I think it would be so beautiful. It would just have a nice drape and a nice stretch. But it's the llama sweatshirt and hoodie. It's the lines on this that are just so good and just so slimming. You can do color blocking if you really want to get a good, give you that good hourglass figure. I mean, this is the first sweatshirt pattern that I feel like looks really good on a large bust and does not look tinty. This one does have the cup size. I think it's got the cup sizes. It's been a while since I've made it. It's either cup sizes or it's got standard and full bust. Great little pockets that go there in the front. You can make it with a hood or with the cowl. I'm sure you could even hack just a regular neckband on it if you wanted to. She's got an option for the finger holes, you know, the cuffs that come down over your fingers if you wanted, or just a regular cuff. It's a great pattern. So yeah, that is one that I highly recommend, especially if you're a busty. I'll be making at least one more, maybe a hooded one and one without any kind of collar as well. So we'll see. Okay guys, so there you have it. Those are my current top 10 knit top patterns, and I'm just really loving these. These are ones that I've pulled for my own wardrobe. Obviously, I'll be talking more plans a little bit later. I want to sew through my daughter's stuff first before I get into my stuff, but yeah, loving that. But let's talk about fabric. I get this question all the time on fabrics that I like for t-shirts, and it varies. I mean, it really kind of depends on the look that I want. My all-time favorite substrate to use for most t-shirts, especially a good fitted t-shirt, something for layering, even things that I'm wanting to wear, you know, by themselves, but a good fitted t-shirt is a cotton spandex jersey. It's just my favorite. A good beefy one with nice recovery. It just can't be beat. And Minerva has, I do have some fabric affiliate links on here too. Not all of them, but there are a couple. But Minerva is one that I have affiliates with. It's all noted down below. But their cotton jersey is so good. I have made quite a few things out of their cotton jersey. In fact, my Concord t-shirt that I hacked the Edie neckline on, the red one, it is made out of their cotton spandex jersey. It's just so good. The recovery on it's great. It's like a nice medium weight, so it's not too thin, so it's not showing like every single lump and bump. It's just a really, really good cotton spandex jersey, and it comes in a ridiculous amount of colors. Actually, my La Belladonna that I made out of the cotton jersey is also that same fabric, just in a different color, but definitely have a look. You'll just get sucked in. I also get asked, since I live in the US, how long it takes for fabric to arrive from some of the overseas fabric companies. Minerva, it typically takes a week from when things are shipped. Now, obviously, COVID throws everything into a big tizzy, so it kind of depends on where everyone is in lockdown, how that's going in and out, but for the most part, within a week after they have shipped, I usually have my things from Minerva. Now, in deep lockdown, that did, you know, sometimes it was more closer to 2 weeks, but they ship in via the Royal Mail for the UK, and then that comes through to the US through our US Postal Service. So I get things through the post office through them. So yeah, really, it's like a week. So yeah, definitely take that into consideration. It's really not that long, and they've got some really good stuff as well. My second one, and I actually have two different sources for this, but the first one we're going to talk about, also from Minerva, it's their viscose jersey, and I think it's called their luxury viscose jersey. I could be wrong. I have sewn with this now a couple of times. My Forte top is in this fabric. I've made a cropped Cashmerette Concord in kind of a teal color. I think it's called light petrol actually, but it is lovely. And I know I bad-mouthed rayon jersey and viscose jersey in the past, but it does drape really nice, and there are definitely applications where you need a drapier jersey. It is not all created equal, and there are some really bad rayon jerseys out there and viscose jerseys that just don't wash or wear well, like my Monroe turtleneck, which is unfortunate because that color was so good, but you do have to be careful with the viscose jerseys. What I love about this viscose jersey is it has a drier hand, so it's a little more matte, and it doesn't seem to be quite as unstable as some rayon jerseys. Sometimes they can be so heavy that they just stretch, and it's like your shirt's melting off your body because the fabric itself is so heavy, and then it's got a lot of stretch, and then things are just like, which is not a good look. But this holds things really, really well. And again, I've been wearing it now in those two tops all summer, and it's washed well. It has, I even got blood on my ivory Forte top when I was cooking, and it came out and everything, it looks brand new. It's just, it's a great fabric. Oh, I also wanted to mention, this is also a cotton spandex jersey, but if you really love, because everything else I'm talking about here is just a plain solid fabric, but if you really like a good stripe, and again, not all stripes are created equal. You have stripes that are printed on, whereas it will be, it's literally gone through a machine, the fabric, once it's been knitted, goes through a machine and has the print printed onto it, which is typical in most like prints, like actual prints. But with stripes, sometimes that can get skewed. If the fabric doesn't go into that machine just right, your stripe can be just skewed. And in order for your stripe to look on grain, the fabric has to be off grain, and that's just never good. What I love about this striped jersey, cotton spandex jersey, is that the stripes are knitted in. So everything is nice on grain. This is also washed really well. It comes in quite a few different colors, but it's this striped jersey, cotton spandex jersey. I'm going to be buying some for my mom, I think, for a striped shirt for her. It's just a really, really nice fabric. So, and I've made it in a boat neck top and also a t-shirt dress, and it's worn and worn and washed a lot. It's done really, really well. Okay. If you are wanting, so those were 3 UK, obviously all Minerva, that's in the UK. You can very easily order if you're over here in the US. But I also wanted to highlight 3 US companies for those of us in North America, if you prefer not to order from overseas. So I've gone with the cotton jersey from Stylemaker Fabrics. Their midweight cotton jersey is so good. I've also used that quite a few times. It is a cotton spandex jersey. It has great recovery. I made my son a shirt to sleep in out of this fabric. It is excellent. It washes well. I mean, it's a t-shirt, pajama shirt for him, and he's worn the heck out of it, been washed a ton. It's fantastic. Also, the Stylemaker cotton modal jersey. This I started using somewhat recently, and that's what this fabric is here, and also my Breckenridge Henley. It is so good for t-shirts. It kind of mixes the best of both worlds. Modal is a man-made fiber, but it mixes it with the cotton, and so you still get, it's like a rayon kind of. I think modal, I think it comes from the beech tree, if I'm not mistaken. So it comes from a much more sustainable original source than, say, like a rayon of viscose. A lot of times that comes from cellulose, so like wood, trees, that kind of thing. But I think modal comes from a beech tree. So similar in sustainability as like a bamboo. So anyway, because the original source, like the bamboo, the beech, it grows quickly and it can replenish itself. It's more sustainable. But I love it because it washes well, it wears well just like a cotton, but then it doesn't have, it has less boxiness than a cotton spandex, which is sometimes preferred. Not always. Sometimes I want the complete cotton spandex jersey because I want it to just really hold its shape all the time. But I think the cotton modal just has a nice plain between the two. So if you're looking for one fabric to make all of the t-shirts out of for the rest of your life and you only want to use one, cotton modal would be a good one. Because it kind of does the best of both. So yeah, that's a good one. And Style Maker's got that in some really beautiful colors as well. And then finally, Emma One Sock. She has her 11-ounce rayon jersey. In her the section on her website that has rayon jerseys, there's other ones that are mixed in there as well, but she has a ton of colors of the 11-ounce rayon jersey. So anything you see that's titled 11-ounce rayon jersey is so good. It's very similar to the Minerva and that it's a drier viscose jersey, or rayon, same thing, but it holds its shape well. Like, it has the drape, but it doesn't like melt off your body like some rayons, and it washes and wears really, really well. I've used quite a few different colors of that from her. I've made my mom quite a few different cardigans and stuff out of that fabric, and it's just behaved well every single time. So, and I'm trying to think. I've used, because I have some remnants in different colors in my stash. I just used the navy for something, and now I can't remember what. Well, doesn't matter. Anyway, it's also a great one, so definitely go have a look there. All of those fabric shops and the actual page where you can go and look at the colors are all linked down below in the description box if you are interested. Whew. Okay, guys, so there you have it. This turned into a much longer video than I had anticipated. That happens. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 jersey knit top patterns that I am looking at right now for my own personal wardrobe as I'm kind of going through things. I really hope to have some plans out to you, hopefully by September for myself, because my hope is that I'll have everything sewn up for my daughter and have that all shown to you guys by then, and then we can talk about my wardrobe plans. And that's also giving myself a few weeks to try. I'm on some new supplements and stuff from my doctor, so trying to see if maybe I can get some water weight off. I need to get other weight off as well, to be honest, but I'm not as concerned about that. I mean, living a healthy lifestyle and getting things back on track and that, reducing stress, all of that, that weight will, that will level out, love the body that you have now, not the body that you're trying to get. And that is totally the way I'm going to be approaching things. But my water weight that is on top of that is one that can drastically go off and on. So getting that back under control before I delve into more sewing is kind of what I'm aiming for here. I'm not expecting to, look like a supermodel after this water weight comes off. I just want to not be swollen. So anyway, I'm giving myself a little bit of time for some supplements and stuff that I'm on to do their job so that we can, plan ahead for comfortable things that still look put together and polished for my fall and winter wardrobe. And on that note, my kids start school on Thursday this week, and I am finally going to be getting back into a routine. I've mentioned that before, how routine driven I am. I love getting off of it for the summer, but I'm always very ready to get back into it once the school year has started. So I find that I just do much better with a schedule. So putting all of that back into place, getting my health back under control, starting to feel really good again. I have some really big ideas and plans for Tomcat Stitchery and things going forward, and I need time carved out in order for me to make that happen. On top of everything, like nothing is changing with the channel, don't worry. Everything's gonna be staying, pretty much the status quo on the channel. This is the meat and potatoes of everything that I do, but I'm wanting to do more. I wanna serve you guys more. So, anyway, that being said, don't get too excited because it could be, I'm giving myself a year to get things ready and what I want in my head, things I have in my head to shoot out. So I can continue doing what I'm doing, but also be planning things in the background. So that is kind of the excitement here on the channel. As always, if you've not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any videos, because I've got a whole bunch of exciting things coming onto the channel now, not just big plans for next year, but so you definitely want to hit that so you don't miss any of those. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. I will see you on Friday again. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Wish me luck as I send my babies off to high school on Thursday. I've been very, very emotional. That is the downside to having twins. You just get the one time and everyone's off at once. So I'm gonna be a mess when they go to college. Who knows? It's gonna be bad. But yeah. Little prayers sent my way for Thursday as I send my little ducklings out of the nest and to the big old high school. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. Okay, guys, have a good week. Get some sewing in and I'll see you Friday. Bye.